The South African Digital Marketing Podcast is made in collaboration with Sean Lutz. Welcome to Season 3 of the South African Digital Marketing Podcast. My name is Terence Mentor, and I'm a digital marketer who's realized that since this industry is constantly changing, we need to be constantly learning. And the best way to learn all the things is to talk to the people who are doing all of the things. This is a very special episode because I recorded it during the Marketing Cafe, which is a conference that took place in Cape Town a few weeks ago. So this episode is going to sound a bit different because I did these interviews with the panelists and the speakers of the Marketing Cafe during the event. So there's going to be some background noise. You might hear some coffee being made in the background. The reason why I mentioned coffee specifically is because I was invited to do this by the team from Bootlegger. They gave me a bit of a space at their cafe section, and this was where I was able to record all of these interviews. So a big thank you to Bootlegger and specifically Miguel Neto, Head of Marketing. For this episode, I asked all the panelists and speakers the same two questions. Number one, what major shifts are you seeing brands having to make when they're connecting with people, their audiences, their customers? And number two, I asked them all to complete the sentence, marketing in 2025 is all about. So let's get right into it, starting with the man who made this all possible, Miguel Neto, Head of Marketing for Bootlegger.
There's been a massive shift in community. I think a lot of brands that you never saw in the past reaching consumers, no matter what the brand, no matter what the product, no matter what they're trying to sell you, put that aside for the minute. How are we attracting new customers? And that's bringing community, it's bringing the feel, it's how the brand, the product, the logo, the things they do around it make the consumer feel or be part of their everyday life, and as a result buying the product. I know it's been part of a marketing strategy and we've all looked into doing it, but a lot of brands are doing more of it and a lot of brands are doing it well, and I think some of us now playing the catch-up game. I think even if you look at some of the biggest people doing it at the moment, if you look at, say, Checker 60, look at all the stuff they're doing around the delivery. Now I live in the world of pops at the moment.
Yes, with the kiddos, of course.
It's got to feel, I'm collecting pops. I've actually got one in my pocket as we speak for my little daughter. And I mean, she doesn't even understand what delivery is yet, but as a family, we've got this feeling. They've introduced the board game. For me, I think that's a prime example, and the one that came top of mind, as I say, because I can feel a pop in my pocket.
And then I actually have two more questions for you. Firstly, can you please finish the sentence? Marketing in 2025 is all about
community.
I'm Mel van Roy. I'm the CMO of Clicks.
I'm Wisal Khanif, and I'm the Group Head of Marketing at Coronation Fund Managers.
What's one shift you've seen maybe recently in how brands are connecting with people?
So we've gone from where big brand, epic brands, and I'm talking to my industry specifically, where epic brands was how you connected with people, as opposed to the what, and the what was those proof points. That has been the shift in our industry. So yes, I connect with you as a brand, but what do you actually stand for, and what do you have to offer me, and how does that enrich my life? Coupled with time has become a commodity. And so you need to find that moment when your audience is open to your piece of communication, and finding that amongst all the other clutter. So building mental availability, in my opinion, has become harder as a brand. I don't necessarily think you need to spend more. Because that's the shift as well. You don't have to spend as much. You just have to be smarter about how you spend your money and where you go.
So strategy really comes into play quite early on.
Yeah.
And quite have to be very clever in how you reach,
because you are competing not only with your industry, you're competing with the industries outside of you. You're competing with the person looking for a wellness spa, that is because that's your audience. So you're competing with all of that because you're going into the same spaces.
And really, don't waste my time and my attention anymore. Give me the meat of what I need. Melanie, what about yourself? What have you seen?
Yeah, so I think because of the consumer is really shaping the way we show up, very much so. The consumer has become super demanding. And I think one of the changes that I've seen taking place in marketing is the move to authenticity, or the lack thereof. So I'm seeing some brands really show up and be authentic, who I am. And then I'm seeing brands that think they're authentic but they're not. And I think brands are struggling at the moment to find the balance of who am I and who am I standing for and how do I want to portray myself versus what the consumer wants. Because I think the worst thing you can do as a brand is not be authentic. Customers of today will catch you out. They'll jump on TikTok, they'll make a video and they'll call you out. And I'm seeing brands spending insane amounts of money to make these I'm so authentic. And I often say to my team, I'll tell you straight what I say to my team. Do not think about, what does the standard Clicks family look like? Must it have this dad and this mom and this? Must they have freckles? Mustn't they? Just be true to what we see. And I think that's the important thing is finding that authenticity angle for your brand.
Great. Oof. Which is a big task. It's quite difficult to move into that.
And especially if you're an older brand, right? Because you can't find your authenticity. You should have had it from the beginning. So the ones that are winning are saying, but we've been doing this since day one. We've been saying the same thing. We just maybe showing it to you in a different way, or we appearing in different places. But authenticity cannot be manufactured, in my opinion.
So it's not always about a huge rebranding necessarily. It's about really
about
identifying who you are.
To who you are. Yeah.
Almost like us as people. Like I spend a lot of time going to therapy, figuring out who Terrence is, and brands need to kind of go through that same process. Melanie, last question for you, for both of you though. Can you finish the sentence for me? Marketing in 2025 is all about
Customer centricity, customer obsession.
Customer obsession. I love that.
Being woke. It's the same thing, right? It's the same thing.
Because that's who the customers are at the moment.
Yeah, it's being woke.
Okay.
It's knowing what's trending. It's knowing what's trending in the US because that's what your clients are being exposed to and might influence their decision about your product on this day. What the content creators are trending. So
and not to make a misstep in a few weeks' time because you haven't been on the cutting edge of it.
And finding the authenticity in that. You see, that's where it becomes so difficult is how woke can you be as an older brand? How woke should you be?
Yes.
Who are you going to peeve off if you're not woke in this instance? So, it's a tricky
I was
one.
thinking about this. There were some ads in my youth because I'm not going to mention it, but in my youth there were a lot of ads that I think back now and go, how did that ever get on TV? How did they allow it on radio for kids to hear while they were driving? And now those same brands have to be all about for everyone, diversity, and it must be a very difficult space through.
So my name is Amy Hopkins. I'm a brand and marketing expert. I'm currently contracted to Africa Paddle, and I'm speaking here at Marketing Cafe on AI solutions for small businesses. And yesterday I also spoke at Brand Aid about brand positioning.
What is one shift you've seen happening over the last few years, or even in this year, about how brands connect with people?
So I think that brands really have moved away from almost like their own purpose-led storytelling to connecting more with audiences in an authentic way. I think what's happened is there's been a lot of like purpose washing in the past, and we kind of tend to see through that as consumers. And so what's really resonating with customers, and something that I'm particularly passionate about, is making sure that you stick to your own authentic identity as a brand and you speak about that authentically to your customers.
Perfect. Last question. Finish the sentence. Marketing in 2025 is all about
AI.
No surprise that the person talking about AI would say that is the main thing.
Cool. My name is Yudvi Ranchard. I'm the brand director at Peach Payments, an online payment gateway across Africa.
And yourself, Tracy?
So I'm Tracy Campbell, and I'm the head of marketing at Payflix.
So let's talk more really about focusing in on marketing a bit. What shift have you seen happen over the last year or two with how brands connect with people in general?
Yeah, I think the go-to answer is probably AI and social. So I think I'm going to try and stay away from that because it's a bit easy to go to. I just think it's, in our space specifically, it's enterprise marketing, enterprise software. And I think there's almost been a shift back to in-person eventing, these types of setups where people want to, it sounds cheesy, but just want to talk to each other again. You want to talk face to face. I think there's only so much a drip campaign can do to talk to someone, but in order to communicate effectively what you offer and you understand what you can provide, it's these types of conversations that help. So
as a digital marketer, that hurts my soul, but I do agree. It's true,
there's a
place for it, but
we've been finding this movement towards this, and so embracing it a lot more.
I completely agree. Events like this is really important for just connection
Yeah.
in a real way. Tracy Lee, what about yourself?
Yeah, I was also going to say everyone's talking about AI, so I think that that's definitely a trend. But I agree, and you can kind of see it in the e-com environment. So Payflex, when it launched, it was largely e-commerce, and everything is slowly shifting. After the pandemic, shifting back to in person, and you got to do both. So you can see in the big brands like they're going with this endless aisle model. You can go in store, you can purchase stuff in store, or you can order it immediately online to be delivered in an in-store environment, and I think that kind of emotional connection and the community aspect of what brands are doing, that is making all the difference now. That's what sets brands apart now.
Do you think maybe people are starting to get a little bit tired of their screens and getting marketing that way? Maybe they need real in-person connections.
Yeah, I don't know if they're tired more than worried. I think if you sit in front of your screen the whole day and the whole night, you kind of worry that you're actually going to become a robot and that you actually won't be able to have a conversation in real life.
Totally.
So yeah.
Tracy Lee, final question, we'll start with you. Finish the sentence, and you kind of have answered this a little bit, but let's see how we do with this. Marketing in 2025 is all about...
Marketing in 2025 is all about everything. I think you can't leave any stone unturned. And of course, you can't boil the ocean. So you can't do every execution. You can't follow every, tactical opportunity. But you can understand everything. And you can decide, with, your strategic hat on, which is the right to follow for your brand and for your market and for your customers, and which one you can strategically say no to. So, yeah, I definitely think it's understanding and knowing as much as you possibly can.
So if you're feeling anxious as a marketer, that's fair. Really.
100%.
Anxiety feels like 24/7. Right?
Anxiety plus coffee.
It doesn't go away.
Yudhira, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think similar to Tracy. I just think we're inundated with new things, right? And we have to go back to AI now and kind of this wave of tools that, and I think that the value is that you can embrace them, but know what works for you and kind of just focus on making that work. So we've done it. We're created AI avatars of ourselves and bringing down costs exponentially from shooting things. We're able to do it in-house, design, video, all these things that ordinarily would need tens of thousands of rands to do, we can now do that in-house. And so that's super exciting and gives us the leeway to do really cool stuff. So it's that, just finding the tools that you think can work and focusing on them and getting the best out of them.
Hi, I'm Alison Badenhorst and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Rand Merchant Bank, RMB.
What's one shift you've seen brands having to make when they want to connect with people? Maybe in the last year or two. Has there been a shift in how connection's been happening?
So I'm in the corporate investment banking space, so it's very relational. So while I think there is this strong, use of channels and digital marketing and AI, I still believe that human connection is still the strongest form of connection. The humanity and ensuring that we drive that human connection is still critically important.
So I'm sure people are scared of this idea of AI coming for my job, but there's still, like you say, we're always going to need people talking to people.
Yeah, so I think the technology and the tools and the AI is there to enhance, but at the heart of it, there's nothing better than eyeballing someone and, just connecting through the simple truth of, person to person.
So last question, marketing, maybe if you could finish the sentence. Marketing in 2025 is all about...
AI, it's about creativity, it's around humanity.
So my name is Karen O'Donoghue. I am the head of marketing at Supersport Bet. Been there for 6 weeks, formerly from MWeb and Web Africa in the world of telecoms. Moved into something very different.
I'm Nabila Friedrichs. I am the head of marketing for Prescient, formerly at Sanlam Investments and then Rescuer.
And my name is Mandi Santloko Peterson. I'm the CMO at CCOM, and my history really comes from the ICT telco environments. I've worked for the likes of MTN, for Nokia, for BCX. Right. So yeah.
Let's talk more about marketing and what you've seen over the last few years. Have you seen a shift in how brands are connecting with their audience and with their customers?
I have seen a shift. I think the audience or the consumer are more discerning in terms of what they want. So there's a lot, I mean, now it's no longer about relying on adverts. It's really about how do you get into their mindset, and also making sure that you're part of their daily lives. So through social media and having, a very strong presence there. I think that's the shift that I have seen, and also the shift in terms of having brands that are socially responsible. So you have people that will buy something based on what that organization is doing from a social impact perspective.
I agree about the socially responsible bit. I think the industry or the market is all about being purpose-driven and meaning. And that's specifically true, I think, in the savings and investment industry. We are obviously like fiduciaries of capital, people's retirement funds, people's savings and investments. And so obviously like showing how we are meaningfully contributing. And then I also think from a marketing perspective, I think likes and clicks is no longer like a true reflection of engagement. It's more around community building.
I think marketing is changing every single day, particularly as our customers' lives are changing. So every innovation, everything that is changing in a customer's life, things that are important to them, things that are not important to them, as you've got to be at the front of that. You've got to be as much a part of those journeys as they are. And that's where understanding your audience, understanding your customers' lives from a real practical point of view is an absolute core function within marketing, because we've got to be relevant to our customers' lives. If we're not, you haven't got a chance. And I think competition these days in every single category just gets more and more. The days of a dominant brand, those days are gone. And the brands that are relevant to customers' lives and understanding real challenges, and particularly in South Africa, to really understand the lives of our customers is massive. So got to keep evolving.
So what's interesting about all of your answers is that even in an age of AI, people are still important, and understanding in a human way is still so the idea of AI coming for all of our jobs is still hopefully a long way away in the reality.
I think it is. AI is a tool to help us, and we should be embracing that as anything that helps us to do things better. We should all be adopting. But in my mind, and I don't believe robots and AI can ever take over the human part and the human connections. I think it's about finding the relationship of both together and how those work.
Perfect. Nabila, you were going to say something?
Yes, I wanted to say that it's quite interesting if you look at the recent ads for AI, that they've actually used people and engagement to showcase their brands.
Which so marketing for AI is about people.
Yeah. And I think over the next while, it's going to be quite interesting to see the link between AI and behavioral science and how we as marketers use that to drive brands.
So last question, and Karen, we can start with you. If you can complete the sentence, marketing in 2025 is all about...
Human beings.
Human beings, love it.
Purpose-driven, purpose.
And it's tough being on the far side of the couch, unfortunately.
It is a tough one. I would say marketing is all about demonstrating value.
Yeah, Anesu Melisa, Gen Z marketeer, ex-head of Gen Z marketing at Samsung, and now I'm just spreading my wings and flying to the next adventure.
Oh, that sounds very scary, but hopefully it is truly an exciting adventure.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest shifts that, and I guess we're going to continue seeing it, is around just this focus on community, right? Building community, and I think a lot of brands are going to start realizing, hey, we need to almost go back to, obviously, if you remember that there's this one shift, the conversation around organic versus paid. Right? Organic serving the purpose of building a community, and then the shift was like, oh, well, we don't really need organic. We can just sort of, invest in paid. Organic can be optional, but I really think a big shift is going to be kind of almost going back to organic and really going back to building our own community, because that's where the equity is, right? Having your own community that loves you and engages with you. So I think that's one shift that we should be looking out for.
And this is interesting because I've had a lot of conversations with other marketers today, and they're all saying similar things along the lines of, it's about people.
Yeah.
It's about people connect with people, even in an age of AI.
Yeah.
It might make our jobs easier, but it can never replace that true human-to-human connection.
100%.
So hopefully that stays true for as long as I have to work. Last question, because I know there's about 50,000 people wanting to talk to you right now. Can you complete the sentence? Marketing in 2025 is all about...
Community and advocacy.
My name's Andre van Kets. I'm co-founder and head of marketing and tech for Discover Africa Group. Yes, it definitely is shifting. We at our business are intentionally trying to be less transactional and more emotive. And I've seen other brands do it really well, where they drive community, they drive resonance, and to be fair, I have a bias towards tech. I'm a geek marketer, and I used to think function matters more than form. And I think as I've matured, I've realized that you can't just make sure you've got the best working machine. You also have to have quite a sexy looking machine and a sexy way of operating. And that's what we're aspiring to. And I think a lot of great bands do that and are doing more recently.
So really figuring out how you make people feel over necessarily what you're serving them.
Exactly. So one of our colleagues recently sort of had a stab at or critiqued our mission, vision, values kind of proposition. And the phrase that was introduced, which we never had before, was how it makes you feel. How your safari makes you feel after your trip. It's not just have a great trip, it's how it makes you feel on the inside. And that's gold.
And I know from your talk that you presented earlier, that's something that you're actually trying to get more of those stories from your clients.
Exactly. So, and it's not only is it practical, because that's where I would start with my sort of analytical brain. Would be like, how could we be better? What do they enjoy? What can we do more of?
What are the metrics?
Exactly. I was so focused on those things, but the unintended consequence was these incredible stories and like with deep meaning. Like I think the first story was about a family that had been back to that lodge after like 10 years or something, and the mother had passed away, and it was like this deep, like meaningful trip for them. We had no idea until we asked. And then they were willing to share that story. It was so significant, and we will now share that story back to them to share just for their own personal keepsake, to share with their friends and family, or if they're happy to share it more publicly, it becomes a marketing vehicle for us and a truly authentic, beautiful story that we didn't write or create artificially, we just facilitated. And there it is in the ether for everyone to appreciate, enjoy, and there's many, not just to pick on their, or to isolate their story, but everyone has their own story. And if we can get those out over time, we'll create a platform where there's almost like a connection point for all types of traveler.
I resonate with that particular story. Exactly. This might be the brand for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just we have 5 personas and there's our 5 channels and our 5 buckets and this is a family and this is a solo traveler and that's a couple on honeymoon. No, it's a spectrum. And now if we have the spectrum of stories, we've got a spectrum of connection points.
Last question for you. If you could finish the sentence for me, that'd be great. Marketing in 2025 is all about...
inspiring, informing, and connecting.
I'm Lauren, and I'm the head of marketing for Yappy Chef. The space is just shifting continuously, right? So, I mean, if we think of the job that we all do, we're having to adjust to customers' use of channels in very different ways. So our interactions with communication spaces change year on year, and marketers need to adjust to that. So I think I would hesitate to kind of draw sort of theoretical trends over the top of that. But I mean, agility certainly, and having to continually reassess where your money is best spent and your time and effort are best put, because the answer to that is changing all the time.
So really just being aware that there is a shift and being ready to shift with it as the data and the audience.
Yeah, and one of the
it.
conversations we were just having now was like around the ability to say no and how you decide what to say no to. And that I think is a very big question.
Yes.
And getting that right is hard.
I suppose with marketing teams shrinking, maybe marketing budgets not growing as much as we would like year on year, that ability to say no becomes really crucial.
Yeah, you've got to make sure that the resource that you're putting in is being as best used as possible and not too thinly spread.
And then finally, if you could complete the sentence, marketing in 2025 is all about...
continuously checking yourself to go, am I using the right AI platforms and in what way? And how do I integrate them to create more efficiencies where I desperately want to have more resource?
Yeah, connected to the previous answer, right?
Yeah,
is
exactly.
How do I make the most out of whatever I have?
Exactly.
And am I being left behind with the latest tools?
Yeah, but also like empowering your teams, right? So that they are capable of doing more with the time that they have. At a different level, potentially systems integrations, things, but that's kind of, you have to use resource to gain resource in those sorts of situations. So, what are the quick wins? What are the easy ways to do our work better?
My name is Ulethu Nkosi, and I head up marketing for Ellen Gray, which is an investment brand, an asset manager based at the waterfront in Cape Town. I think a shift that I've seen is, I think brands are going back to doing work that connects with people at a human level. And that's been great to see. The creativity feels like has come back. And I hope for 2025 it means that it's here to stay. And of course that requires bravery. And I hope that all the marketers in their respective organizations are getting the support that they need to do this really challenging work in this environment. And the reason it's become so challenging is because consumers there's so much clutter out there that everyone is vying for attention, and maybe that's the reason why marketers are doing work that connects or seeking to do work that connects. Is for you to be heard, you have to be willing and able and work that breaks through the clutter, and only bold creative work can do that. So the recognition of the competitive media landscape, the clutter, and also the fact that everything is vying for our attention is really making marketers refocus on creativity, and it's great to see. And
like you said, it is great to see it. It means that the cream does rise to the top.
Like a cappuccino.
And that means that the people who do good work will see the rewards of that. I say we. I'm hoping I'm including myself.
Of course you are.
Oh, thank you. And then final question for you. Can you complete the sentence for me? Marketing in 2025 is all about
bravery.
Yeah, so I'm Glenn Anderson. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for the Badger Holdings Group, which includes, among others, the big Dodge pet insurance brand.
And I'm Matt. I am a fractional CMO working for a few startups and the ex-VP of marketing from Yoko. Yeah, I mean, the obvious one is just the move towards authentic UGC. Like, it's kind of insane how when I watch what does or doesn't do well on social media platforms nowadays, if it's not authentic, coming from a creator or a real customer or a third party, it just doesn't bang. It doesn't get the platforms don't push it. It doesn't get the eyeballs on it. Any of that like beautiful branded content just falls flat. So I think unless you're on TV or very traditional media, and if you're not playing a UGC game, at least in the middle of your funnel, you're probably missing out big time. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So very much along the lines of what Matt was saying, but I think brands have stopped. Good brands at least have stopped talking about their product. Right. They speak much more about their story. And first prize is to have, as Matt mentioned, their customers or their ambassadors speaking about their story on their behalf.
And this has been an interesting kind of thread that I've seen throughout the last 2 days, speaking to other marketers. When answering that question, AI doesn't come up. And it feels like in this age of AI, more and more we're like, people are important. People follow people.
It's such a good point. It's funny because AI is integral to my workflows, and it feels like it's become integral to a marketing team's workflows, but it feels like it's not the heart side, and therefore it's about getting maybe to answers faster and more efficiently, but it's not changing the answer. I mean, if OpenAI is doing campaigns that involve people, then right?
Yeah, the best way I can describe it is AI is a race to the middle, right? It's
that's a great point. Yeah,
it's removing barriers to entry, so like anyone can become a marketer. Everyone was a marketer to start with, right? But now anyone can become a marketer. What it's done is it's put pressure on really good marketers to become really great ones through leveraging our human talents.
So the cream ultimately will always rise to the top.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what tools are available at the time.
Exactly.
Okay, so maybe Glenn, you can help us finish off with answering this question and maybe finishing the sentence if you can. Marketing in 2025 is all about
people.
I love it. Right. The one-word answers are the best.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Authenticity.
People and authenticity. That came really through in the conversation you guys were having on the stage earlier. Was like authenticity is so crucial in being who you are as a brand. Does that connect with also the way you connect with your audiences? I'm just thinking about not just being authentic to who you are, but also authentic to who your customer is, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that also important?
Yeah. I think people can smell bullshit from a mile away.
Yeah, and the thing that's different now, I think you saw that yesterday in one of the presentations that spoke about moments of delight. I think that's another big thing, is that you can't just, deliver the service people expect. You've got to be surprising people. You've got to be not just through your marketing, right? But you've got to deliver the experience right through. And so like creating ambassadors or people that really love and care about your brand and are willing to speak out on your behalf is what we're after in the marketing space, I think.
So I'm Tara Navarro, and I'm the head of marketing for Dermalogica South Africa. I think a big shift. I always say we're going back to basics. So I think, Bootleg is a great example, like the whole coffee culture and community. So even with Dermalogica, we work with coffee brands, we work with run clubs, we work with a lot of like the local gyms, and we're really meeting the consumer where they're at. So consumers, I think after COVID and after this very digital world, they want to have space to connect with other human beings. So I think that's so important, like really going back to basics, hosting events, activations, creating communities is so important.
So even in a technological world with AI and all these advances we're seeing,
yes,
sometimes just the old school eye-to-eye handshake conversation
doesn't
works
have
the
to
best.
be anything fancy, doesn't have to have any kind of digital production. We find our best attended events are like these big run clubs, and you meet at a coffee shop and we try connect people, and then they can just touch and feel our product and trial our product, and they love it. And the people that show up, and it's them coming with friends, meeting new friends. So I think that's important, of how brands bring consumers together.
Nice. And then lastly, if you could maybe finish the sentence for me.
Yes.
Marketing in 2025 is all about...
Marketing in 2025 is all about resilience.
Wow. Okay. Can you maybe expand on that just a little bit?
I just think we never switch off. So we just have to be resilient. We're constantly going. You can never do enough. So I think you just need to be resilient and constantly thinking ahead, thinking what out of the box, how can you be creative. So I think resilience is probably my word.
Sure. So my name is Jennifer Hole. I'm a fractional CMO, which means that I'm Chief Marketing Officer. I suppose I market things. I'm in the marketing space. And currently, one of my big clients is called Kakio, so that's a fractional CMO for them. Marketer for different brands. I think there's so many shifts at the moment. I think the whole industry is changing in line with the landscape of the media landscape as well, which is changing. We've seen the rise of AI, the rise of so much content. The way we're connecting with customers, I'm seeing a lot more collabs. I mean, even Instagram's got like the collab tool. I think there's many more collabs where like communities can actually grow big brands from like nothing. Gone are the 5, 4, whatever P's of marketing there used to be, because like every channel of your brand's touch point is a opportunity for brands to engage with the consumer. And I think brands need to realize that.
the rise of the employee ambassador, employee influencer, whatever you want to call it, but actually honing in on the fact that people are your biggest assets and they are a channel for your brands. I think brands, when their employees talk about them over a braai, word of mouth is always the best for marketing. And yeah, titles. I can do like 5 hours on how titles are different in different organizations. Like I think marketing, you can be in one company, you can be a CMO. What that refers to in a different organization is completely different. Like marketing assistant, brand, these titles are all really like all over the show. Like I think titles mean nothing. It's just what are you actually there to be of value and service to for that brand.
I mean, that's a massive conversation because we could talk about that for hours. Because what is the difference between a head of marketing and a marketing director and a marketing manager and a CMO?
It pretty much for me, like it actually doesn't matter. It depends what is, and also a big organization, small organization, like at what level in the organization, so all like that is yeah. I mean, let's park that.
I would love there to be a levelized course.
It's like
actually
Stacey titles are like it's
like
anyway.
If I'm a doctor of a certain kind, if I have that name next to me, everyone knows what I'm about. Unfortunately, not for marketers.
It's all over the show. But anyway, as long as we are still obsessed with the customer and trying to grow the brands, do better for the community and the greater good of the world. So
I think you've kind of answered my next question a bit, but maybe we can do it in a little succinct way.
Yeah.
Can you finish the sentence? Marketing in 2025 is all about...
Marketing in 2025 for me is all about impact. And I think the impact comes in, it's I suppose it's quite broad, but like I would love to see brands doing more good for the community, which will end up doing more good for the country region, which will do more good for the world. I think that for me, like that will be my ultimate. But impact for what? We need to all consider what are we doing it for and like really consider it, and then impact.
Hi, I'm Jared Patel, the head of marketing at the C. Alvis Group. Yeah, I think, look, and the big shift I think is people trying to hyper-personalize communication, really trying to understand audiences, and then audiences also expecting brands to do that, right? So when there isn't that connection with the brand, it's a lot easier for people to feel the disconnect because there's a higher standard. And I think that's been a huge shift. I think from that kind of mass media hit and hope from maybe not even that long ago, to now like really honing in on who my customer is, what do they enjoy doing, am I feeling that connection? And as soon as you're not doing that, it opens the door for all of the other guys to come in and
do
take
a
your
better
place.
job than
And
you.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, just thinking about that, even as something as simple as if I got an email that said "Dear Sir/Madam," I'm immediately deleting.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't even put my name on it, then you don't know anything about me.
Exactly.
So just to align with that. And then last question, could you please complete the sentence? Marketing in 2025 is all about
connection. I think based on what I said, I think if you can find connection with an audience, and really it's about relevance in different ways. So how are you relevant to the majority of your audience? How can you maintain that? How can you keep those links going, whether it be through educating around your brand, whether it can be through entertaining, whether it can be through just adding value to people's lives. That's what we're trying to do as marketers generally, and that's where we're seeing success. So I think connection is the main thing.
A big thank you to all the panelists and speakers of the Marketing Cafe who were willing to come and have a chat with me after speaking on stage. If you want more conversations just like all of these, make sure you subscribe to the SA Digital Marketing Podcast and follow me on LinkedIn. The link to my profile will be in the show notes. Thanks so much for listening. This was the SA Digital Marketing Podcast at the Marketing Cafe, Cape Town 2025.